Lonely man and decent man, born in a decent time. The truth about male loneliness. Let's get into it.
You are a decent person, a decent man, born in an indecent time. This whole thing with the male loneliness epidemic, as they say, I think has a lot of misunderstandings around it. Number one thing is, I believe that men should have a support network. Now, not a bunch of friends who are up to no good, not a bunch of friends who are going to drag you down, but people who are naturally going to lift you up, have your best interests in mind. People where you can be yourself around and be vulnerable around it and not worry about it backfiring. So, with modern culture, I think a lot of people, especially if you're a good person, if you're a decent person, you are going to attract narcissists. You are going to attract users.
And that's the thing. When I was younger, especially, showing so much kindness, being there for people, saying yes, people take advantage of that. And people love nice people, especially narcissists, because they can just use you. They can just use you. And it takes going through so many of those experiences, getting heartbroken, getting to the point you're sick of it, to start thinking about yourself first.
And I believe a side effect of a lot of these kind of traumatic, manipulative friendships is people shell up and, in a way, causing loneliness.
Yeah.
Again, from being a good, decent person. Now, my thing is this, right? I've talked about in previous videos, dealing with narcissists. I was a lot younger and a lot more naive at a time. And when you have less experience with relationships, with friendships, you're a lot more susceptible to be taken advantage of by these kind of characters because you just, quite frankly, don't know any better. You don't have the discernment. But with experience comes that discernment. I mean, pretty much everyone I've talked to has dealt with a narcissist in some form, whether it's a coworker, family member, friendship, relationship. They've dealt with some form of a narcissist, of a user, of a taker, of a manipulator. It's important to remember that, because I was there too, shelled up and didn't want anything to do with anyone. It took a number of months to years to really be more open to the idea.
And that's what creates all this degeneracy in a way. Think about a guy that's been heartbroken, gave a woman everything, was nice, there for her, and he finds out, for example, she's cheating. He finds out he was being used, disregarded, then discarded. That man will turn into a monster. Either not wanting to do anything with any kind of relationships, or the opposite, which you see. Something created those types. Something. Who hurt you? That's a real thing. And people act like it's so cool to ask. It's not cool. You shouldn't even get to that point.
Of getting to know people. But it's a serious side effect a lot of good people run into when trying to make friendships. And I totally get it, guys, but the reality is we shouldn't lose that optimism. We still should strive to have some form of community and a support network. Keep your circle small, but just make sure the people around you are very like-minded and good people. I'll put it that way.
And to my points previously, that's about relationships, right, with the opposite sex. But this also applies with your friends, right, that are non-romantic.
The other thing where I think decent men struggle with is that modern culture right now, with the social media, rewards a lot of flashiness and controversy. You see so many people that have act like complete clowns on social media, and they just go viral, and people want to emulate them, and people want to talk about them. My thing is this: I understand times change. I understand that, but that's certainly not how things should be. I mean, let's be honest. In no sense of the world is that normal behavior. So when people see that, good people, they don't want to be part of the flashiness. They don't want to be part of controversy for attention. They want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They want sincere, real conversations, not little kind of surface level interactions like we see on social media. Not things that are very things that lack meaning and purpose. So with the social media stuff, my take is this, because with the flashiness, I think it's good to have nice stuff. Of course, I think it's good to treat yourself. I think it's good, quite frankly.
That's a different story to take it and use it to flex on other people, to make other people feel worse about themselves, to do that with the goal of appearing higher than what you are. That's what you see on social media. A bunch of people flexing their money, flexing what things they have, flexing, for example, how many women they were with, how they look, whatever it could be. It's not really a good intent at the end of the day. Which sucks, because social media rewards people like that. You know, this kind of video should have more views. It should have more people liking it, sharing it, and so on. But realistically, the person in the grocery store trashing the whole place will get more views. Degenerate activity is rewarded, which sucks. And like he said, as a good person, as a person trying to do well and improve in life and do the right thing, that's what you want to do, the right thing. You don't want to lower yourself to what the world values, degeneracy.
Something I wish I would do, and because I still got time, and even when I was younger, is treat myself more, to be completely honest. But with that, people need to understand that those material things don't leave this earth with you. That's the truth.
Yeah.
From the moment we're born, the only thing that we are guaranteed in this life is the inevitable.
It's death.
And once that happens, those material things do not leave this earth with you. So it's good to appreciate stuff. It's good to use it to uplift other people. But this whole flexing culture, I find very bizarre. And it seemed to become very prominent around, I would say, 2015, 2016. I remember that there was a song, I can't remember the name of the song, but I believe it was Chris Brown was featured in the song, and it was a line in the song went something like, I make in a year, or it was I make in a week what you make in a year, something like that, right? Just a line.
And this is the kind of people they praise. Guys that beat women, guys that don't respect women, That's the types that are shown on the media. And that's the types that look like me, that they push in the media, and the belief is we are like that. With music, with Hollywood, entertainment, sports, whatever it is. They show that to you, and it automatically puts us in that box. That's another side to it.
The song. And I understand some people could argue, oh, it's art, no, it's this and that music. But the reality is, guys, pop culture does influence people. They're going to want to emulate it. They're going to want to... you look at trending styles and stuff like that. I mean, it does have an effect on people. The music does. And my thing is this. That message is being instilled in young people with the music. With a lot of stuff. It's not just the music. It's a very unhealthy thing, this kind of flexing culture. I don't know exactly where that came from and where it started. Again, I think it's good to use that as drive and inspire people to show, okay, you can get this if you're successful. But to just degrade people, to essentially talk down to them because you have a more expensive watch or a more expensive car, that is so pathetic to me.
It's loser
I've
behavior.
met stand-up people, some of the most decent people, who are not people who are financially abundant, people who, quite frankly, struggled their whole lives. Whereas I've had people who do have a lot of money who are very sleazy and very dishonest. So that doesn't make...
And that's the thing, too. I don't like this because hearing this, you're under the impression if you get the money and all that, you become sleazy. You become like these people. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Materialistic things shouldn't change your character if you had good character in the first place. That is the thing I don't like. Because having things is good. Being wealthy is good. If you're a great person without money, you're a great person with it. I would do so much to help communities. Obviously, I'm not gonna do it. I actually don't want people to know I'm helping. I'll do it from a distance, on the down low, but I'll still do it. Maybe you know what I mean. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back to it. I lost my thought.
Make a man at all. That doesn't make anything, quite frankly. It's something a lot of times I think to mask insecurity. So, with that too, is with the modern dating stuff, because I will touch on dating, because when people talk about male loneliness, they talk about dating. I think it's a lot more than dating, but I will touch on dating.
Yeah.
So, I myself, having dealt with relationships and friendships as well, because this can relate to those as well, under the age of 30, people under the age of 30, I noticed ghosting, very common. People being very flaky. And look, I understand if something comes up, but there's been many times in my life where you'll make plans and there'll be no heads up, no, oh, hey, something came up, no, hey,
you know what? This is what created the red pill culture. This is what created the MGTOW, whatever it is, men going their own way. It's just pathetic. And I'm sure he's going to touch on dating apps and that as well. It's we're losing touch of what is actually important. We're losing touch. Big time.
I'm feeling sick. No, nothing. They'll just ghost you. You'll try to call them once, twice, 3 times, and it'll go to voicemail. And when good people, when decent people see that, they're just like, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's disrespectful. It's disregarding. And usually, guys, when that happens, I make an effort, unless, I understand things can happen. There can be emergencies. But I usually don't make much of an effort to reach out to that friend or relationship or whatever it might be. Because I'm like, why am I investing in something that is disproportionately against my favor? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, with the other stuff, too, is sleeping around, right?
Oh,
which is becoming a lot more common.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Good, decent people generally are not going to want to engage in that. That's just the truth. They're going to want to look for something more sincere. They're going to look for relationships, long-term stuff like that, things that can eventually lead to marriage, which...
Exactly. And the thing is, too, you're praised when you sleep around. You're praised when you have a lot of opportunities. And people also use that to flex. Lame. You're lame. I would love to say I'm a virgin. I would love to. That is something taken so for granted. It's not cool sleeping around. It's not cool jumping from bed to bed to bed. Different woman every day. No, it's not cool. We need to start saying that and calling it out. But people are praising it. This is where I've gotten. This is where I've gotten. I cannot believe we're here.
I've touched on this previously. From a traditional standpoint, I am a very big proponent. I think it's beautiful if a man and a woman can come together and bring a child into this world and raise a child, especially as a man, as a father, to raise a child to not repeat the same mistakes that they made and give that wisdom to the kid.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of horror stories and witnessed a lot of horror stories when it comes to marriage and relationships. And again, it's not good to be paranoid. It's not good to be closed-minded. But it's becoming more common than not. I believe the divorce rate for first-time marriages is around 50% overall. 50%. So second-time marriage, it's actually, I believe, around 60%. Again, don't quote me on that. But I myself know many men who have had kids and been married that warn me and tell me to not get married. Tell me to, which again, I don't like generally using anecdotal evidence to generalize, but it seems like it's a common occurrence. So with the ghosting, with the sleeping around, with the horror stories, I think a lot of good people are in a confused spot right now.
They're done.
Because at the same time, you don't want to be celibate, you don't want to be lonely. I understand that. But you just...
And that's another thing, too. A lot of players now, I don't believe all of them want to be players. I believe some of them are just doing it because they don't have a choice. That's how bad it is. It's either you're celibate or you're doing that. There is no companionships, good relationships. Some people are in that situation that don't want to be because that's the only thing they got. That's the only option they have besides celibacy. It's sad. It's sad.
You just have to have very, very, very good discernment, which unfortunately
Requires
I
experience.
think a lot of that is going to have to come with experience.
Yeah.
You might deal with a crappy girlfriend.
Yeah. A couple,
or crappy
actually.
friend.
A couple.
That's just the reality. I mean,
You deal with a
again,
couple.
from the age of around 15 to 25, 26, the amount of crappy friendships and relationships I dealt with, quite frankly, I've lost count. I've cut off so many people over the past few years. So, I just think there's a lot of confusion when it comes to this whole topic. And I am open to actually hear other people. And I do want to make videos down the line touching on dating and relationships. I do think it is a very relevant topic.
Yeah.
But with good men, I think that this... What's the best way I can word it? I'll put it this way. This lack of humility we see in the culture, this less and less empathy and more narcissism, I'll put it that way. Because I believe that narcissism is on the rise. I'm not saying everyone's becoming a full-blown narcissist, but...
And also, we need to be careful, because that is actually... It's a you cannot just call someone that isn't diagnosed with it, you know what I mean? But people do, a lot of us have tendencies that are narcissistic, if that makes sense.
Narcissistic tendencies certainly seem to to have become a lot more common. And I don't know if it's the social media, whether it's spiritual, there's something going on behind it, certainly. And of course,
I think too, it might be a protection mechanism, because if you're doing so much to be good to people, you're trying your best, and you keep getting nothing in return. It's one-sided relationship. Your heart is broken. You're doing what's best for you. For some people, that might be also it, with the social media and all that.
The Bible, it does talk about good people and suffering and on this earth, and I'm a believer in that. But at the end of the day, I don't like seeing so many good people, so many decent people being unhappy when they're doing all the right things. And I don't want this to turn into a negative video, because there's enough doom and gloom out there. But the best thing I can say is do your best to find a support network of people.
Where they're at. Where they're at. Like when I meet people now, and this is outside of dating, mating. When I meet people, I'm very hesitant to state or talk about the things I have going on, because the moment I do that, I start to see behaviors change. I start to see jealousy seep in, and more gossiping I'm hearing about me happening. And it's just like, I'm just at the point where I'm just at peace on my own, because I've tried too many times. But like you said, I'll remain optimistic, but I'm just at the point I don't really have more talking stages left. I don't have more starting over, getting to know left. Like, honestly, just done it so much. I didn't lose hope yet, but still. If you know, you know.
Who do have your best interests. And it might take time.
Yeah.
But through experience and discernment, you'll be able to notice those people. When it comes to this kind of social media stuff, guys, I'll be honest. I think we'd all just be better off getting off this stuff. I really do. All these apps, dating apps, I didn't even get into that.
Oh.
How shallow and surface level is that? swiping and dismissing someone based on what, a picture or something they had in their bio. Half the time
it destroys your self-esteem. It really does. It really does. And I made a statement. I kind of made the crazy statement. A lot of individuals on a dating app just for attention. That's it. They don't really intend on meeting anybody, actually seeing people. Nope. They just want the reassurance that they're attractive by getting a like or a match. A lot of people are like that. I'll say guys too. I'm not just going to say women. Unfortunately. It's not real. It's not real. When you meet the person, they don't even look like they look in the pictures. Do you know the term catfish? I can't even count how many times. I can't even count.
Flake and ghost, and I've personally known people who use dating apps. They've told me straight up that they will use them to just get attention and validation. Have no plans to date, no plans to meet up, nothing. But just get off on, oh, look at how many people swiped on me. Wow, look at this. My ego's really out of control now, which, again, that's some...
Yeah, it's damaging. And seeing likes on Instagram, likes on Facebook, likes even on YouTube. It damages your perception on reality. You know, get over yourself. Get over yourself. It's just a like. Big deal. There's more important things than that. I'm not better than you, you're not better than me. We have our lanes we need to go at. And in a way, all of these platforms have made people think they're above God. It's idolatry, self-idolatry.
Different entirely. But we're at a time right now where decent men, good men, are just looking around and wanting nothing to do with this. And the thing is, too, I'll put it this way. Most people are decent people. Most people have a set of morals. Me as a believer...
I wish I could believe you, man. I wish I could believe you. More people than we think are decent people. I don't think most people. I'm sorry. My experience as a black man in North America, I cannot agree with that. I just can't. Nope. More people than I think. 50-50. Not most.
Even in Christ, I have my own set of morals. I try to live to the best of my ability in a godly way. I'm as much of a sinner as anyone else.
Yeah.
But and I think this is really important to remember, is that most people are decent people with a moral compass that understand right from wrong. They might not always do right from wrong, but they understand right from wrong. I mean, think about how many people you guys have talked to.
Not in my experience. No, I've seen too much nonsense, honestly. I don't want to get into it. Let's just keep going.
About social media. Pretty much everyone I've spoke to about social media admits it's toxic, but they don't get off it.
Yeah.
People mutually need to kind of come together and be like, look.
And the thing about social media is you have to use it. It cannot use you. I'm on social media because I want to promote my brand. I want to promote my coaching, what I'm saying here, my art, stuff like that. I'm not on social media to be entertained. I'm using it for education, I'm using it for content ideas, and I'm using it to grow. That's the purpose of social media for me. It depends how I use it.
Look, at the end of the day, we're not that different in terms of the way we think.
Yeah.
It's just that we're so caught up in this kind of toxic culture that rewards narcissism, that rewards
degeneracy,
acting like a controversial clown, that rewards flashiness, that rewards degenerate behavior. I think that's really the cause of male loneliness. Because if you're a good, decent person looking at that from the outside, you're not going to want to have anything to do with it. And even with being alone, there's been many times in my life where I think I can handle it pretty well, because there's been times in my life where I was really to myself, although they weren't times where I was happy. But I worked hard and worked on ways to get out of that kind of mindset, and get out of those kind of positions. And I do think as you get older as well, it does become harder and harder to make friends. It's important to have people.
And the thing too, the older you get, the more boundaries you have. You don't care as much of what people think of you. You have a line, and it will not be drawn. You cut people off easier. People cannot get over on you anymore. When you're younger, you care about approval. You want to be recognized. You want to have companionship and stuff like that. But as you grow, you don't really care. You have boundaries. And you really see people's true color. Who's actually sticking around, who's going. And that is far less than when you're younger and naive.
People that you can fall back on. You know, and again, not everyone has a big family, not everyone has siblings, not everyone has, which if you're lucky enough to have your parents and grandparents in your life, which again, even, I've heard horror stories even with family members. I've heard of narcissistic family members.
Yeah, I've heard it too.
But it's just important to keep the people close to you
Amen.
that are going to be there for you.
Amen.
That are not going to make you feel like these problems I just mentioned do with this modern society nonsense, the toxicity garbage, the narcs out there, which, yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for viewing. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
God bless, bro. God bless. Great video. This is definitely an important video. Definitely check out this guy's channel. Headspace with Spiral. Yeah, man. He said it all. Anyways, that's it for me.